All right, so today we're actually going to talk about you, okay? We are going to talk about you. Something that God showed me this morning is that it is very important to really understand that we have an adversary when it comes to the things of God, whether it's financial, marriage, your children, your health. It is very important to have an understanding that Satan is real and that demonic forces are very much so real. So in this video, God began to deal with me about agreement, okay, and how the enemy wants you to basically come in agreement with the actions of your spouse. Listen, you have to understand that the devil is always working, and what he does is he works on the both of you and your spouse at the same time. So just like how the Bible talks about, the word of God is like a double-edged sword. The enemy is like that. It's like a double-edged sword where he's trying to work on plant seeds on the both of y'all. So let me give you an example. So what I mean by that is he wants you to basically agree. Like, let's say that your spouse is a habitual liar, right? And that you know that they're lying to you and you're frustrated, and you're trying to fight and do all these things for your marital standing, the things of God, and you can actually verbally come into agreement. So if the enemy is influencing your spouse to lie and be manipulative, then it will plant. It's like the actions of your spouse is like the enemy is influencing your spouse to plant seeds in your heart and in your mind. And you have a choice what you do with those seeds. You either get upset, you get offended, you call, your best friend, and all you do is talk about like, he's a liar, he's manipulative, he's all of these different things. And you don't understand that you're actually coming into agreement with Satan. Satan is very strategic, and it's very important to not come into agreement. So instead of saying, yeah, he's this, you want to begin to either shut up or even begin to pray for your spouse. Now, this takes a level of spiritual maturity and humility, because of our ignorance. We don't understand why we keep repeating the same things, and it is because, like, what are you in agreement with, if anything? So I wanted to make this video to kind of give you a perspective on not to come in agreement with your spouse. So the enemy is going not to come into agreement with the demonic actions of your spouse. So the enemy wants you to basically and when there's an agreement, it's like he's going to influence you to say things to them, to do things and things like that, or whatever, that plants more seeds in your heart to where into their heart, to where now they'll never forgive you. And like it's literally a war to even get back in communication. And with these things, it's major delays. Like, it's major delay. It's like, it's like, you take 10 steps forward, and because something happens, it's like you take 10 steps back. Disobedience can really delay you. Like, ask the Israelites in the wilderness, like, you have to really be obedient to God. Understandably falling short, definitely understand that, but repeatedly doing the same thing over and over again, knowing what God has already told you to do, is disobedience. So you want to ask God to help you in the area of obedience, okay? But that was a revelation that God gave me this morning about the power of agreement. So you can unconsciously agree with Satan by the things that you verbally agree to, or even the things that you're paying attention to during this time. So if you are always looking at things and watching things that that are not cool, that are not in alignment with your believing God for. Let's say that you are watching videos of, people arguing, baby daddy drama, baby mama drama, and things like that, and there's like no counsel or things like that, then that's a form of coming into agreement, because you are opening the gates for the enemy to come and plant those seeds in your hearts and your mind, and work on those things. It's not wise to watch those things while you're praying and fasting for restoration. So you want to be mindful of that, y'all. It's a real walk. This thing with God is very serious. It's a real walk, but it's so worth it whenever you get your reward. So you want to focus on praying about the weaknesses of your spouse. If they are a liar and if they are manipulative, these are things that you need to go and take into prayer with God. And a lot of times God will tell us what's going to happen to them, so that they can be delivered from these things. So it's really not anything that you're physically doing, but you're just interceding on their behalf for their freedom. Okay, but definitely be careful of coming into agreement. What's going to help you is basically asking God to look at them the way that God sees them. So praying that, Lord, I pray that you allow me to see him the way that you see him. And one thing that God is dropping in my spirit right now: anytime that my spouse ever made me upset, or offended me, I always went to God immediately and I ask him to help me forgive. Like, help me, God, to let this go. Don't allow my heart to be offended, and help me to let this go. Because if you don't forgive quickly, the devil is going to shoot up like crazy things in your mind, and then you're going to be mad. It's going to be hard, to kind of hear God when you have all of this offense and unforgiveness in your heart. So if you're ever offended by the actions of your spouse, ask the Lord immediately, God, help me to let go of what she said. Help me to let go of what they said to me. God, put me back in on where I'm supposed to be at, and God will begin to kind of vindicate you if need be and give you peace. So I pray that this video has blessed you. I see a lot of people asking questions about one-on-one calls. So yes, I do take one-on-one calls. I know we have a lot of people in our community. I do take one-on-one calls, and sometimes I do have a lot of reschedules because people are so busy. So if you ever want to call one-on-one with me, definitely just send me a message on TikTok, or you can sign up with the free ebook with the link in my bio. I have a link in my bio called Did God Tell Me to Stand? Free ebook. You're going to get an email, and then once you get that email, you can send me a message from that email asking about call availability and things of that nature. Okay, so my one-on-one calls is actually how people have been basically getting restored, along with the books, and basically following the community and doing everything by faith of what God is saying. Okay, so that's just to kind of answer your questions that way. But yeah, if you want to get in contact with me, get the free ebook that's in the link in my bio. I am going to revamp so things are a lot easier, but for right now, get the free ebook that's in the link in my bio called Did God Tell Me to Stand? And that is when you can ask for availability if there is no time on the calendar, just to do a check-in. Okay, I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.